And welcome back. Welcome back. Keep going?
Keep going.
Okay. I'm told to keep going. And welcome back to another episode of One Takes with Tom, where you can leave in the comments below the tracks I should be listening to. And if I find a track that I'm resonating with, I'll grab it with both my arms and talk about it. Like this week, Bernard Herrmann, Vertigo. So, this is such a good theme. Let's hit it. 1, 2, play. Now, it starts with this incredible opening theme, da, 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 with the horn playing the melody. Now, you do have to understand, it's like, yes, I am a composer and I work in Hollywood and I have a fantastic time doing it, working with all these lovely directors and studios. But boy, Bernard Herrmann is one of my heroes, and for me, he's like up there in the sky with God or something. So listening to Bernard Herrmann is always a little bit, how do you say that? Tricky, because you hear a true master at work. And in the 50s and 60s, when he primarily had his chunk of his career, under which a couple of films with Hitchcock and Vertigo is obviously Hitchcock. The combination, how the two of them work together, and the high, incredible level of Bernard Herrmann as a composer, not only what he could do melodically, harmonically, but especially exploring colors within the orchestra. I use that to film. Everybody knows the classic shower scene of Psycho with the punchy strings. Also Bernard Herrmann, copied many times since then. Bernard Herrmann is one of the few people that I would love to collaborate with in 2019, so right here and now, and to see what his vision on sound would mean in the world of computers and sound design that we have at this point, or building weird instruments. I just have a feeling that his visionary look on things could really help us, define a different tone in film music, and that's really pushing me to, to learn more about film scoring and to get a better combination of all these different colors in one film score. But you're never too old to learn, and I hope that I'm around for a lot of years to even learn more. So stay tuned for that if that happens. But we're at the same time listening to this wonderful material by Bernard Herrmann. The way that he voices his chords, it's so interesting. It has definitely a lot of language from the classical world, from the later Russian composers, German composers, but it also has that unique, fresh quality to it that I found in the James Bond scores in the 50s and 60s and the early Mission Impossible. And we also did a video on Dirty Harry, Lalo Schifrin. These were composers that brought such a unique sound and original way of writing to film scores. And for me, I think that time period, 50s, 60s, is heavily overlooked in the 2019 score world of Hollywood. There's so many great things that characterize the music in the 50s and the 60s, things that we're listening to right now. Would you use a piece of music like this, identical, into a 2019 score? No, you would not, because that would not work. But there are elements in there that you can still use. It's certain harmonic progressions, it's certain orchestral colors, it's the way that Bernard scored tension sequences, what we're listening to right now. And in this particular film, Vertigo, our main character is led to believe something that eventually is not true. And the way that the music builds up that suspense in combination with the brilliant filmmaking by Alfred Hitchcock. I would say Vertigo is one of my top 5 favorite Hitchcock films for sure. And also this movie I would say put this on your list to see as a classic movie that you need to have seen in combination also with the music. Now what's really nice in these Hitchcock films from that time period is that they barely had really any sound effects. There were some sound effects like the walking, footsteps, slamming doors, a gunshot, a car that drives away, but not the larger-than-life sound effects that we have right now in our big Hollywood blockbuster films. So the music needed to do way more in the 50s to a film than it does in 2019, I would say. It's my humble opinion. So that also put a lot of extra weight on the shoulder of composers in those days to make sure that everything was properly covered. And Bernard Herrmann is obviously from that old school time period where everything was basically being done with the orchestra. There were not really any digital or computer instruments to enhance the sound. And that brings us almost to the end of this movie. There's a little bit of silence, and then the music just kicks back in. And I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is part of his suite that he originally wrote for Vertigo. I think to get approval from Hitchcock for the themes. I'm not 100% sure. I think that's what it came from. If somebody knows, please leave your comment below and then educate me where it actually came from. So that takes us to the end of this wonderful track. Incredible composer, Bernard Herrmann, all the way up there with the gods, and us humble composers on earth right now can just bow before this wonderful composer, Bernard Herrmann, and hope that at some point in the future we write something that is maybe 10% as good as what he did. But he's a lovely composer, classic film, go see it and enjoy that music. See you soon.